Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. I want to talk to you about something that's serious and important, but hopefully it'll be very helpful to you. I'm going to share with you some of the things that I learned in those real dark seasons that actually helped to pull me through. There are dark seasons where you're in a hospital and it could be a real fight for your life, but there are times where you can be at home and it's a real fight for your life, and I've experienced them both. And there are some things that actually help me to hold on, to have hope, and to help me to not only want to stay here, but to fight to stay here. And those are the things that I'm going to share with you in the hopes that perhaps it could help you if you're ever in that situation with your loved one. My husband made sure that I had pictures in the room. I don't always take pictures to the hospital with me, but there are times when it was a real fight for my life. It was a real fight for my life. Doctors thought it was over. Everybody thought it was over. And it looked like it was over, but praise God, it wasn't over. And I had a lot of bouts of unconsciousness. I would come through for a minute and then I'd check back out. And I had a real fight, not only to just keep conscious, but when I was conscious mentally, with clarity and with memory. But when I would come to, I would always see a certain picture of my family. That meant a lot to me. And there was times when I wasn't able to see, but that picture was burned in my eyes because I think perhaps it might have been one of the last things I saw. I don't know. But I saw that. So if you can put pictures up, my children would always put up, draw me pictures or posters and different things like that. And my husband would put it in there to help me to realize what I had to fight for and what I was holding on to. Also, touch. Oh gosh, y'all, touch is so important. Whether a person is conscious or unconscious in their right mind or not, drugged up or not, if you're touching them, that touch helps to keep them grounded, to keep them here. Because sometimes when you're fighting to stay here. You're literally grasping on to whatever you can to hold on to keep you here because you feel like you're slipping away. And touch grounds you. It relays love, it relays care, and it also lets you know that you're not by yourself. Because sometimes you could be laying there and your eyes are closed and you don't even know somebody else is in the room because it's so quiet and they're sitting there quiet. But if somebody's touching you, it lets you know that you're not alone in this. And somebody's there with you and somebody's there fighting for you and pulling for you. Whether a person can communicate with you or not, whether they're conscious or not, they can hear. So it's important to talk to them. Because if you're telling them that you love them and that you need them and to keep fighting, they're hearing you, and it's going to help encourage them. Even if they can't respond to you or relate to you, it's a pretty bird. Even if they can't respond to you or relate to you with their thinking or feeling, they can hear you. Even if they're unconscious, it gets in there. Believe me, I know it gets in there. And the most important thing I have found is that my husband stayed with me by my side, and he just would not leave. Don't leave them alone when they're fighting like that. Do not leave them alone when they're fighting like that. It's amazing. You'd be surprised the things that nurses do and say and doctors do and say that could really cut down the willpower of a person. If at all possible, do not allow your loved one to be alone. Allow them to be with someone at all times, and not just anyone, because a lot of people, when situations are like that, they really don't know how to speak right or how to behave right. I've had a lot of people come in crying, wanting to say goodbye to me, and I'm like, don't come say goodbye to me. I'm fighting to live, and you coming to tell me bye. You don't want that, and you don't want people coming in saying stupid stuff. you know, oh, so and so died of the same thing you had just yesterday. You know, you don't need all of that. Have people with wisdom to come in, and people who know how to speak right in certain situations. My husband had to block people from coming in. He even banned doctors from coming in. We fired a lot of doctors because they didn't know how to speak right or act right, and they were not looking to help to keep me here. They were just willing to say, you know, goodbye. But sometimes you got to ban them nurses and stuff like that. But don't allow just anybody to come in there. Realize that you have an authority as a caregiver, and you can command that atmosphere and that environment for your loved one. My husband always kept the lights dim, calm, peaceful. You know, if I wanted the windows open because I like sunlight, he'll do that. But he always kept it really calm for me. And he always made sure that if it wasn't quiet in there, he would have something on that was soothing for me, or he would put on something that was really encouraging to me, because he knows I like the word. So he'll have the Bible being read to me on tape, or he'll have the preached word on, but something that's going to minister to me. He always made sure there was things that would encourage me. But those are some things that are really important. Just remember, keep talking to them. If they can't talk, you speak. They need to hear your voice, and keep encouraging them. And it's really important to let them know that you want them here and that you love them. You know, because I remember there were times when I was home, and I told you guys before, there was a time when I wanted to check out. It was just really bad for me. I didn't want to be here. And I even told you about those depression places and how it's a downward spiral, and a lot of people don't get out of it. And I remember my children were really small. I think my youngest was about 2, maybe 3. And somehow they must have sensed where I was feeling and what I was fighting and what I was going through, because they came in one day and they were crying, and they all came in together in a little group, like a little herd, you know. And they stood at the foot of my bed and they told me, "Mama," they said, "we don't care if you can't get out this bed. We just want you. Please don't die. Please stay here. We don't care if you ever move." And it made me cry, but it gave me some fight, because my babies told me they needed me. And sometimes when you tell somebody that you want them and you need them and you love them, and it doesn't matter, that can put something in them. It put something in me. I guess a lot depends on the type of person and what motivates them, but my family motivates me. So I hope there was something in there that could help you, that was helpful. I shared with you the things that I've experienced and the things that helped me, and I hope there's something in there that you can use for your life. And if it's not something that you can use, at least it could have gave you ideas of things that you could use. And that's what I hope to do here on From Surviving to Thriving. But with all things, do you. And I hope to see you next week. I thank you all for tuning in and watching. Please feel free to like us down below and subscribe so that you can get the videos each week as they come out. You all have a great week. Bye.